So, one of the things that I wanted to do is we're going to have basically just kind of an introduction to what it is that you guys are doing, okay? If you logged into Sabbath Realize, then you would see that you have some assignments. Let me get to that. Oh, let me go to Spanish 1, 4th period. I'm just going to have to, there we go. All right, so when we log in here, and I go to classes, for me, it looks a little different, okay, but you guys are 4th period, so I'm going to look at your assignments, okay? I notice on here, really for the Como Te Llamas, that one is due September 2nd. Most of you completed the other activities. If you notice on the screen and it's purple and it says En la Escuela, right there, that's a folder. So like when we look at that, if we were to open that activity, there's going to be several activities within that folder, okay? So that's several activities as one assignment, okay? And so let me go ahead and see if I can open this. Well, that's not what I thought it was going to be. I'm still learning too, okay? Okay, there we go. So when I preview this, you've got 4 different assignments within this, okay? So you guys started in the textbook and did like the little Para Empezar that told you your objectives. The first thing I want you guys to do is everyone go ahead, if you will, and click on that e-text where it says Hola, ¿Cómo te llamas? Now look up here at the top, do you see the tabs? In order for you to hit submit, you would have to complete all of these tabs, okay? Before you can hit submit for your assignment. Does that make sense? I could have issued them as individual assignments. I don't know what you guys prefer. Would you rather me do it as a folder and you do the tabs before you hit submit for all of those, or give each one a different submit? What do you guys think? You want them all under one tab?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you cannot hit submit because you can't resubmit and I can't reset it, okay? So if we do that, you can't submit until you're finished with every activity as we go through. Everybody understand? So the first thing for En la Escuela, that's what we're talking about. What do you think escuela means? Where are we right now? School. Yeah. So En la Escuela, that's what we're talking about. And we've got some objectives here. Greet people at different times of the day. Introduce yourself to others. Respond to classroom directions. Begin using numbers, telling time. Identify parts of the body. Now, I think I told you in one of your assignments or something that the goal here is not mastery. The goal is to make sure that you can start communicating relatively quickly, even if it's just a small bit of communication, okay? So one of the things that we talked about the other day, if you guys know how to greet people, some of you do. What's one way you know how to greet someone? Buenos dias. Hola. Most people know hola. We've learned buenos dias. What does buenos dias mean?
Good morning.
Good morning, okay? Literally, it does mean good day, okay? But good morning. If we were in England, we might say good day, okay, instead of good morning, right? So we say buenos dias. If I said buenas tardes, good afternoon. Tarde, T-A-R-D-E, it looks and sounds like what word? Tardy. If you're tardy to class, then you are late. So that gives you an indicator on what time of day that greeting is to be used, right? Does that help? And then we had at nighttime, if you see someone, if I go to a football game and I see you, then what would I say to you?
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Now, by the same token, if we live in the same house and I'm your parent and we don't speak English and you're going to go to bed, what would you say? Buenas noches. It's the same thing. So we can say that to greet someone, or it could be something like a departure when you're saying, you know, good night, I'm going to bed. See you in the morning, okay? So, anyway, what you guys will do, and make sure that you can kind of get that on the smart board so that they can see, is when you guys have vocabulary, it says listen to vocabulary support, okay? And if you want to move, baby, so that you're not like in the camera. Are you camera shy?
She's not in the camera.
Oh, okay, okay. I'd ask her why not. You're beautiful. You need to be. But I get it. All right. So, listen to the vocabulary. So you guys can just come up here. You'll hit the play, and this is going to review the vocabulary words that you guys see here. You're going to hear them say these things, and notice they give you a time of day to kind of go with each of these dialogues. Okay. So you would play these, and let's just follow along as it plays.
Hola, ¿cómo te llamas?
Oh wait.
What's that?
Buenos días, señor.
Oh.
Buenos días. ¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo Felipe.
Okay, I'm gonna pause
Buenas
that. Hold on.
tardes, señora.
I'm gonna pause.
Buenas tardes. ¿Cómo te...
Let me pause. I tried pausing.
What is como te llamas?
Okay, so let's look at this, okay? The first thing that he said was, Hola, ¿cómo te llamas? Well, first off, to me, they messed up a little because they didn't have that line here for you guys to read along, right? We know that hola means what?
Hello.
Hello. Excuse me. Hello. ¿Cómo te llamas? Okay?
How are you?
Now,
What's
let's
your
look
name?
down here, and I'm going to scroll and see if you guys can kind of figure out what he's asking. He says, Buenos días, ¿cómo te llamas? And then the guy responds, Me llamo Felipe. Hold on. What's your name? So when he said, Me llamo Felipe,
Felipe.
My name is Felipe.
my name is Felipe, okay? Now, let me tell you about names. I had a former student. She's in college now. She's taking Spanish, and I often help her, okay? And so she texted me the other night, what's my name in Spanish? And I said to her, I don't think she'll care if I say her name. Your name is Jalise. You don't change your name. If you are in another country, your name is the same, okay? Now, my name is a little different because my first name is Caroline, okay? So if I go to a place where people are speaking Spanish and they said, ¿Cómo te llamas? I'm going to respond and say, Me llamo Carolina, because my name is one that easily translates, okay? But if someone's named Felipe, we don't expect them to call themselves Philip when they come over here, because that's not what they were named. They were named Felipe, okay? So the same thing with your name. When someone asks you what your name is, you don't have to come up with, a different name. Some teachers like to give students a Spanish name to use. That's cool. But I feel like if we're setting you up for a real world situation and you were to go to some other country and they said, ¿Cómo te llamas? Then you need to be able to tell them your name and not say, Me llamo Raquel, okay? If your name is not Raquel. All right? Everybody understand that? So if I ask you, ¿Cómo te llamas? What's the first two things that you want to repeat with?
Me llamo.
Me llamo.
Me llamo. And then what are you going to say after that?
Your name.
Your name.
Your name. Whatever your name is, okay? So, that's where we would practice, all right? Buenos dias. Notice here he said, Buenos dias, señor. What do you think señor means?
Sir.
Sir. Okay? So we have different titles that we use in Spanish, okay? Men, señor. Women could be señora, señorita. Do you understand those? What would be the difference, do you think, between señorita and señora?
Old person and young person.
Okay.
Oh, never mind.
Marital status, Miss and Mrs. So, what am I? Okay, you don't see my rings, but I have rings.
Senorita.
I'm not a señorita. I'm señora. So you would say señora Reed. Okay? Señora Reed. That's what you would address me as. Okay? Or you could just say señora. In a Spanish-speaking country, the students actually would call the teacher, instead of even calling them by their name, they'll say maestra or profesora. What is maestra, profesora? What do you think? Teacher. So I had a student last year, he was Latino, and then he would always say, hey, teacher, I have a question. Teacher, I have a question. He always just called me teacher, but the kids didn't understand why he was always calling me teacher. it's a cultural thing. In his country, they refer to the teacher as profesora or maestra, okay, depending on where you are. So, if you see me, then, you know, in the classroom, we're practicing your Spanish as much as possible when we can. Señora, okay, señora. So we practiced some of that vocabulary, depending on the time of the day, buenos dias. Then we talked about buenas tardes. Now, if I tell you buenas tardes, ¿cómo te llamas? Again, what was ¿cómo te llamas here?
What's your name?
What's your name? She said, me llamo Beatriz.
My name is Beatrice.
My name is Beatrice. Mucho gusto. This is hard for me to teach this one because in the United States, typically, do you know it? Okay.
Is it pleasure? Is it my pleasure?
Okay, mucho gusto. I would shake your hand normally and say, pleasure to meet you, my pleasure, okay? Now, pleased to meet you is the mucho gusto. When you respond, that's where you would say, think Chick-fil-A, oops.
Yeah. Just for the X.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's where it was. I'm not used to my smartboard working because this is like the third one and it never works. Think Chick-fil-A. No, Chick-fil-A. Encantada. Thank you, and they say,
You're welcome.
no, they don't.
Your pleasure. My pleasure.
They say, my pleasure. Y'all never been to Chick-fil-A?
No.
Come on. Okay. That is my favorite place. Keep that in mind. Okay, another way to say, if you didn't want to say, up here, mucho gusto, encantada. Another way to say this, instead of encantada, if someone says mucho gusto, you could say igualmente. Now, I'm going to back up so that I keep my distance, okay? Because I need you guys to be able to see my mouth, okay? And so I have to remove this so I can say igualmente. I want you guys to repeat that. Igualmente.
Igualmente.
Igualmente. Good, okay? So sometimes I'll have to do that so that you guys can see exactly how to say it and how to move your mouth, all right? So igualmente. Now, we've also already covered señor, señora, señorita, okay? And we talked about names. Here are some examples of names. Now, when you start getting into these activities, you're going to listen to them, okay? And then you've got answers to fill in. We talked about ¿cómo te llamas?, right? Igualmente. Buenas tardes. Then you have another activity here. Buenos dias. There's some more. I think they already went over this. Let me see. Some of it's going to look like it's exactly the same, but when you scroll down and do this now, on this, you can play the video model, and it's going to just be a conversation. It says that you would change partners, but you guys are not going to do that, okay? Because, sorry it's taking a while. And it's okay if you got to keep scrolling. You're like, oh my gosh, how much do we see? When you scroll through all this, you don't have to do that. Now, here's where it comes in. That activity that said the speaking portion, okay? Speak and record. So you will start, and it tells you to view the e-text that goes along with this. Read the page. We've already gone through that, and you guys can go back through it, okay? You can keep that e-text open in another tab. It says record your conversation. Now let me explain what you guys are going to do, okay? You don't have to do this with a partner, all right? Now you guys that are in face-to-face, you can, but I actually prefer that you not, okay? Because I want to work on your pronunciation. So you guys are actually going to read the conversation. See this red button, the record button? You're going to hit the record button, and then you're going to speak into your computer and read this conversation. A, B, A, B, A. You're going to read all those lines, okay? So it's important that you go through each of these tabs and repeat that as you listen to the conversations and the dialogues till you understand what they're saying and how they say it. All I want you to do is read the conversation and get that pronunciation down. Yes, sir.
I don't know if you said it or not, but how do you pronounce the Y2 thing?
Oh, E2. E2, okay? So, the E means and. To, you. So they said, good afternoon. Good afternoon. What's your name? My name is Paco. And you? My name is Lourdes. Lourdes. Okay? Lourdes. Mucho gusto. Pleased to meet you. Encantado. Okay? So, that's going to be your speak and record activity, and then you've got the others that you just kind of fill in the choices. In addition to this, you also have like a workbook page or something, and you'll see on your assignments, I believe it's red on there. Let's see. Let me exit. Okay. Yeah, assignments.
When do we do it?
What do you mean when you do it?
Like, can we do it now?
Sure. You're gonna have a different activity though, that's not with these. Maybe this is it. No, that's not it.
It was in the folder.
Mm-mm. Core activity, that's what I was looking for. Okay, you'll see one, it's not in the folder, it's red, it says core activity. And so when you open that, it's gonna have more activities
So
for
we
you to
did
do.
that before?
Huh?
We do that before this or after?
I don't care.
Already
You,
did that.
you did the core activity?
Yeah.
Okay,
I got 100.
alright. So you guys are gonna do all of these, and submit them, and then, like I said, give me some time, I'm learning how to fix this and transfer it from, Service Realize into Echo. But I will get this transferred, and I promise to have grades updated weekly. Once a week, I'll have your grades updated. Okay, that's our policy, from our principal, is to have grades updated at least once a week. Okay, do I have any questions from you guys right now? Everybody understand how we're gonna be doing this and we'll acquire new vocabulary? Perfect, I'll let you guys continue to work, okay?